Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday to our Self-Leadership Reading Club, where you don't have to buy the book. We buy it for you, and we read and we discuss it together. We are actually talking about Jack Canfields, the Success Principles. We are currently on principle number 22, believe it or not. So welcome. For those who are joining us live, feel free to say hi, share your comments, share your thoughts. I'd love to know what you're thinking. So why is self-leadership really important? Well, if you know me, I've taught leadership for just over 21 years, nearly 22 years now. And one of the critical parts of that is being able to walk the talk and continuously improving yourself from a self-leadership perspective, because it has this whole domino effect, which is why we're focusing on it. So today's principle is practice persistence. Practice persistence. Let's see what Jack Canfield has to say. Most people give up just when they're about to achieve success. They quit on the yard line. They give up at the last minute of the game, 1 foot from a winning touchdown. I totally believe this. And if you look back to some of your successes or regrets that you might have seen that you're actually on the tipping point. Well, persistence is probably the single most common quality of high achievers. They refuse to give up. The longer you hang in there, the greater the chance that something will happen in your favor. No matter how hard it seems, the longer you persist, the more likely your success. And for anyone that's an entrepreneur, a small business owner, you know this to be true. It's like a massive roller coaster. And you think, oh God, can I do this? Can I invest more money? Would it not just be easier to go and have a nice salary and a wage, right? Probably daily you ask yourself that question. But then all of a sudden, you're on an upward turn, right? The tipping point. It's not always going to be easy. In fact, sometimes you're going to have to persist in the face of obstacles, unseen obstacles, not just any obstacles, things that you didn't even think of that drop in your way, right? That no amount of planning or forethought could have been predicted. If you're watching this live, we're in COVID-19. This is something that nobody predicted would happen. But despite that, we are still succeeding. And some people, even all the more, because they're able to pivot. And this is where persistence comes in. Sometimes you'll encounter what seems like overwhelming odds. And sometimes the universe will test your commitment to the goal that you're pursuing big time. If you have goals just because we're in a situation that we really don't know or have a lot of control over, it doesn't mean you need to drop your goals. And I'll talk about that in just a second. The going might be hard. It might require you to refuse to give up while you learn new lessons, develop new parts of yourself, and make difficult decisions. What do you think of that? So Jack Canfield shares a lot of examples of that, a lot. So I'm not going to share them all, but there's a couple of really great ones. One being very Canadian. Having lost his right leg to cancer, Terry Fox embarked on a cross-Canada run called the Marathon of Hope in 1980 to raise money for cancer research. His shuffle and hop running style took him about 24 miles a day, close to a complete 26 marathon every single day with an artificial leg. He managed to run for 143 days and covered nearly 4,000 miles from his starting point in St. John's, Newfoundland to Thunder Bay in Ontario, where he was forced to abandon his run when doctors discovered cancer in his lungs, and he died a few months later. When asked how he kept himself going as exhaustion set in and he had thousands of miles ahead of him, he answered, "I just keep running to the next telephone pole." So sometimes you just don't need to look right at the very end. You just look at the next milestone and the next milestone and the next milestone, right? You don't have to look at the whole thing. This is a really great story too. In fact, let me give you this quote first. No is a word on your path to yes. Don't give up too soon. Not even if a well-meaning parents, relatives, friends, colleagues tell you to get a real job. Your dreams are your real job. Your dreams are your real jobs. We were not put on this planet to only work for an organization, pay bills and die. We will not. I can tell you that wholeheartedly. I know that truth. When Debbie McCummer decided to pursue her dream of becoming a writer, she rented a typewriter, put it on the kitchen table and began typing each morning after the kids went to school. When the kids came home, she moved the typewriter and made them dinner. When they went to bed, she moved it back and typed some more. She did it for 2.5 years and she didn't make any money. So push comes to shove, her husband says, "We're not making any money. You need to get a real job." As everybody kept telling her, "Go and get a real job. You're not making any money," blah, blah, blah. So after about 6 months, she fell into a real big pit of depression, and her husband said to her, "Well, what is it?" She says, I just miss writing. I just know it. I know in my heart that I'm a good writer and this is going to really work. So thankfully, he said, "Okay, go for it." And she became a New York Times best-selling author, and she has a television series now, and yes, it may not have been true, but some of the best things in life are on the other side of a jump, right? It could just be on the tipping point. Put yourself in a position, be proactive now, put yourself in a position where you can persist through when you're hitting that brick wall, right? You've got to be able to persist. Never give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Here's some great examples of that. Admiral Robert Peary attempted to reach the North Pole 7 times before he actually made it on the 8th time. In its first 28 attempts to send rockets into space, NASA had 20 failures, but they didn't give up. Oscar Hammerstein had 5 flop shows that lasted less than a combined total of 6 weeks before Oklahoma, which ran for nearly 300 weeks and grossed $7 million. Tawani Odell's career as a writer is a testament to her perseverance. After 13 years, she'd written 6 unpublished novels and collected 300 rejection slips until Oprah Winfrey chose her book for the Oprah Book Club, right? And it lasted there for 8 weeks. So hang in there. You're going to make it. Hang in there is the message here. For every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. So this is something I want to talk to you about. I just want to tell you what Jack Canfield says, and I'll add to it. He says, whenever you confront an obstacle or run into a roadblock, you need to stop and brainstorm your way around it. There's always at least 3 ways, either around it or over it. For every obstacle, there's a number of ways it will work. Always be solution orientated in your thinking. Persevere until you find a way that works. There's very rarely something that you can't overcome. Let's take a look at it. If you look at your life, the things that you've overcome already, if you just think back the last 2 things and you thought, oh, this is impossible, and look where you are now. At the time, you might think it's impossible, and you have to remind yourself that you've put yourself there before and you have recovered. And not only have you survived, you've actually thrived as a result of it. Where's my book here where I write my notes in here? I totally invite you, if you haven't already, drop in the comments if you have. Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, right? There really, really is a point where it just puts you over the edge and that's it. You know, you're right up there on the big curb. You need to be agile with your goals is what I want to tell you. So many times, so many people go, well, I have to give up. You know, I got sick, so then I couldn't exercise anymore. I have to give up. No, you don't. You just circumnavigate the goal. You just change the goal. Maybe you have to elongate it, right? Maybe your exercise has to be different. I'm going to give you a pure example of that. November the 1st, I decided that I was going to lose a lot of weight. And because I wanted my energy back, it wasn't about losing the weight. It was about getting my energy back. So I did a certain amount of exercise and I did a lot of cardio and I did a lot of weight training and I was doing great. And then I had a really bad car accident where I hurt my hips and my legs really badly in my back. And I wasn't able to exercise. So instead of saying, well, that's it, I just can't possibly follow this same plan anymore, it's a whole different goal, I went and I found, thank you to my friend Jennifer, she's watching this, I found hot yoga and it changed everything. And yoga, you won't believe, hot yoga, you lose 600 calories alone before you even start stretching. It's amazing. So I circumnavigated this system, and you can too. So perseverance is a really great principle. We'll talk a little bit more about that and more in tomorrow's Self-Leadership Reading Club. I hope you can join us. For now, you have a great day.